Welcome to the 2014 Farms.com Risk Management U.S. Corn Belt Crop Tour. My name is Moe Agostino. I'm a commodity marketing expert, and this is the start of our tour. We're in the state of Ohio. We've been traveling for about an hour. We're on highway number 4 and number 18 near the Seneca Caverns. And the old adage is that corn should be knee-high by July 4th, and you can see here that this corn is knee-high. But that was the old adage for decades ago. If you didn't have corn knee-high by July 4th, you could run into some issues. I think the new adage now is that corn should be chest-high by July 4th, and this is not chest-high, but we have seen some corn as we've traveled through the state of Ohio that looks like it's chest-high. Now, there's been some heavy rains the last week that may have delayed some soybean planting in the state of Ohio, but that rain really has been good for the crops overall. Now, just to give you some quick facts on the state of Ohio, corn, according to the USDA Crop Progress Report, as of June 23rd, was 78% in the good to excellent category. Beans were 76%. Winter wheat was 81%. 4% of the wheat has been harvested. The corn yield in 2013 was a record 177 versus 12 at 123, and soys was 49 last year versus 12 at 45. So despite a colder and wetter planting season, the corn, 60% of the corn in Ohio was planted by May 10th, which is an optimal period for planting corn. So far, the corn looks pretty good here in the state of Ohio. We're now standing in front of a winter wheat field here in the state of Ohio. It's our first winter wheat field at highway number 4 and 18 near the Seneca Caverns. And the wheat in the United States, the soft red winter wheat, has really done quite well. The crop conditions have improved over time, and you can see from this field, not quite mature yet, but only about 4% of the wheat in Ohio has been harvested. But the USDA does rate wheat at 81% good to excellent, so this looks like a really good crop, and it's probably going to yield some pretty high numbers. Okay, we're now in front of a soybean field. We're still in the state of Ohio on Highway 4, traveling south. And as we travel south, the beans are not looking as good as I thought they would. There's a field further down there that was probably planted late. This one's not too bad. It's looking pretty good. We're at the probably 4-5 leaf stage. Looks like it has some good stands, and again, state of Ohio had some pretty good yields the last couple of years, 49 in 2012 and 45 last year. So this field's looking pretty, it's probably late, but still a lot of growth ahead of it. Now near a cornfield, traveling south on Highway 42, just past Delaware. And the first cornfield we saw in Ohio was about knee-high. This one's about chest-high. As we travel further south, it's looking a little bit more variable, but looking better. We have experienced 2 rainstorms in the couple of hours that we've traveled through Ohio. So that trend of moisture and heat continues. We're not seeing a lot of hot, dry weather at this point, but this corn's looking good. We're now near another bean field traveling south on Highway 42 just past Delaware, Ohio, and this bean field looking a bit better than the first one we saw, probably a little bit further ahead. But again, there's some variability in a lot of the bean fields we're seeing in Ohio. As we travel further south, they're getting a little taller, but we've seen a lot more moisture again. That's been the trend, a lot of moisture and heat, but there's been a lot of bean fields that we've seen with standing water. If that standing water sits there for over a day, can ruin those beans. They will get drowned out. So, but this field, it's not perfect, but it's looking better. We're now standing in front of a soft red winter wheat field here in Ohio, southwest on 42, kind of in the central part of Ohio now. And you know, this wheat field looks like it's ready to be harvested compared to the first wheat field we saw. As we travel further south, you're getting more maturity, but this wheat field looking really good. Okay, we're in our final corn field here in southern Ohio. We're in Martinsville, Ohio, and this corn is making me look pretty short. This is the best looking corn so far, and this corn probably is going to tassel in another week here or so. It's June 29th, probably by July 4th. You know, the new adage is corn chest high. Well, I'm not a tall man, but it's taller than chest high. So this is really looking good, and it's again the best corn we've seen thus far. We're now in front of a soybean field in Ohio. It's our last field in Ohio, and we just showed you the best looking corn in Ohio, and we're traveling further southwest. And this is the best looking bean field thus far. These are great looking beans. I'm telling you folks, what we're seeing here between the beans and the corn, we're on the verge of another good looking crop. I know we had some issues in the north, but whatever's happening in the south could more than offset any production loss in the north, especially if the north gets the heat. So we're at the end of our tour, our U.S. Corn Belt crop tour in the state of Ohio, and we've traveled from north to south. My observations are that we've had a lot of moisture throughout the state of Ohio. We've also had a lot of heat, and we've shown you some videos along the way. There's been a lot of variability. Sometimes when you get the variability in the state of Ohio, they like to do the striping. Sometimes that variability can be due to some planting density. Nonetheless, the corn's looking good. As you travel from north to south, it's getting taller, it's getting closer to tasseling. The beans, on the other hand, there has been a lot of variability. The plants are taller as we go further south, but there's been a lot of rain, and we've seen a lot of fields with standing water, and that tends to ruin those beans. So I'm gonna rate the state of Ohio from 1 to 10, whether it's average, below average, or above average. So for corn, I believe it's above average. It's looking like pretty good corn crop. I mean, there's still a big growing season, but on the beans, I'm going to say average for the state of Ohio. And on the wheat side, we're starting to harvest, but the wheat looks really good, so above average.